How's everyone doing? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about Lidia in our 12-minute guide series. So I've spent a good amount of time in rank. I think I'm sitting around Bushin or Tekken King, so I have a pretty good understanding of how she plays. So first off, I want to get out the way her stances. So she has 4 stances. One is only available in Heat, which is called Heaven and Earth, which we'll get to. But let's start off with the first stance, which is cat stance. You do it by hitting back 3+4. Her second stance is horse stance by doing forward 3+4. And then that third stance is called wolf by just hitting forward at it either or. So it's up to you on if you want to remember the names of the stances, because it's better just to know, okay, I'm in this stance, okay, I'm in the second stance, it has this moves, this one has this moves, right? This is an easier way. So cat stance, you just call it 1, and then forward 3+4, stance 2, and the stalking wolf by hitting forward out of either or is her third stance. Okay. The cool part about going to her second stance, forward 3+4, is that you can hold forward and to go into the third stance. With the first stance, you would have to hit forward after the fact. So cool little shortcut if you ever go into stance 2, just continue holding down or forward, and it will go into her third stance called wolf stance. So her stances are pretty important. Okay, so I'll say is with horse stance, you have 1, which is a high power crush that tracks both ways. Really good. It will absorb attacks on trades, right? If they try to jab or anything, it's gonna push you 2 apart. Okay, you have 4, which is pretty slow, but it's a knockdown, which gives you 2, right? It automatically goes into her third stance, and you can do 2 for a guaranteed flip over. Okay, it's pretty slow to the point where you can just get jab checked out of it. Okay, so be mindful of her stances and what are fast and slow. Okay, you also have 3, which is a mid that is tracking, right? Knockdown. You know, for a follow-up, you can do 4-4-2, or you can do down 2, or for the bigger damage, down 1+2. Okay. And you also have the big one. So when you go into her horse stance, which is pretty much to me, I think her most important stance, when you hit 2, it does this throw animation and it activates Heat, and when she's in Heat, Heaven and Earth is now available. Okay, so this stance can be activated by hitting up out of any of her stances. Okay, so if you go on like stance 1, hit up. If you go into stance 2, hit up, and then also hit up on her third stance. Okay, and remember, Heaven and Earth is only available in Heat. And it's pretty simple, luckily, that she just has 3 attacks. She has 1, which is a big launcher, and it's -11 on block. Then she has 2, and this mid is safe on block, and it throws the opponent away for a wall splat if you're close to the wall. Okay. And the last option, which is what you're going to be using a lot for the mix-up to scare opponents, it's 1+2, and it's a high unblockable. Okay. So that is the 3-way mix that you're going to kind of just be playing around. You're mainly going to be doing 2 or the high. Why? Because the high is unblockable and the 2 is safe, and the 1 option isn't safe. It's -11, and you might as well just go for the other 2. Yes, the 1 will give you a launcher, and it's also a knockdown. So let me show an example. So if I hop kick, activate stance, boom. Big damage. Okay, and as you saw on the top left, that little red marker, every time she activates Heaven and Earth, it stocks, right? And the more it goes up, the more damage her Heaven and Earth moves do, and some other moves like running 1, her down 1+2 when the opponent is on the ground, does more damage. Forward 4-3, this move does more damage as well, and recovers Heat. So there's a couple of moves that will be enhanced. It stacks up to 3, and it stays on for the entire match. Okay, so every time you do this, it's gonna stay there. So up to 3, and each time it stacks up the damage. I hope that's a easy way to understand how that works. Okay. So now that is horse stance, which I think is her best stance. Cat, you have 2-2, you have 4, you have 1, and you have 3. So quickly, as you see, has a low option, which goes into her warp stance. The 2-2, not safe on block, but you can use it to screw if you're in a combo. And the 1 pushes them away. 3 is a heat engager. Okay. So now I want to talk about her strings. Let's talk about the strings that's going to get you these W's. Okay. So you have back 1, +2 on block. As you see, really good move. It has stun, +2 on block. It's a mid, it's a heat engager, and it also wall splats. The only negative about this move is that you can sidestep it pretty well. But if you place this move accordingly, you can be abusive, right, to your opponent. You know, get to the wall, hit on your situation, kind of sidestep a little bit, kind of sidestep with the opponent, and just spam it as you like. So really good. Don't be afraid to throw it out. But remember, yes, it can be sidestep, but use it to abuse it. Okay. The next move is her 4-4-2. So this move is really good. And as you see, it goes into her horse stance. So, which I think is her best stance. And you can enhance it by doing, as you see, the blue spark. And to do it is while running, which is 3 arrows forward and then 2. Okay. If you want to do it really fast, then you do forward, forward, then forward and 2 at the same time. Okay. Like that. Okay. The difference is you get more damage. The plus range are the same on block, but you get more damage on hit, where it becomes really good because it's +17 now and allows you to get 2 as a follow-up guaranteed, and it goes into heaven and earth. So this move is what you're going to be using a lot. Majority of the time you're going to be doing back 1, you're going to be doing 4-4-2, right, as your mid options, right, because they're both safe on block and it goes into stances, and then on that counter hit you get 2. Boom. And a little trick as well, if you land 4-4-2 into 2, you can hold back and she won't go into heaven and earth. Okay, a little trip. So anytime that activates, just hold back. A lot of her stances can be canceled by just holding back. Okay, that's going to be the thing we're doing the majority of the time. Next I want to talk about down 2. So it's her second best low in my opinion. Some people think it's her best low. It has decent range. It's not anything too crazy, but it is kind of fast, right? And as you see, the range is, you know, pretty good. But the thing about it that makes it good is on counter hit. Whoops. It's +12. So you can do rising 4-2, or what they want you to do is her wild crouch down 4-2. Okay, this move right here, really good. Because as you see this low, the reason why I say it's the second best, it's -4 on hit. So you lose your turn. To me, this is better just because she's standing, right? It's less noticeable in the eyes, and I would throw this out as a good range. As you see, you can back this away and move around and kind of get this out. And in counter hit, guaranteed, okay? Those 3 hits are guaranteed. If you land, that's all guaranteed right there, which is so nice. It's easy to get anybody with just this, just constantly doing this. They try to jab, boom, counter hit, guaranteed. It's so good. Okay. The 2 hits are highs, but like I said, this is a poke. I usually use it as a poke, and if I see, sometimes I just throw out the whole thing, and then if they don't duck it, I'm gonna keep spamming it. Okay. And the follow-up, the 4-4-3. This isn't guaranteed, but if they don't tech roll, it is guaranteed. So get low as her down back 3. As you see, it goes into horse stance again, right? The stance I was saying I think is her best. A lot of her best moves go into this stance, okay, which I think is intentional. The down back 3 is a tracking low +7. So I haven't been using it as much as I should, but trust me, it's a good move, right? The range is pretty solid. +7 goes into horse stance, right? Hit 1, have that power crush move come out, right? So really good. Or the 2 options, catch some slacking, now you just activate the heat for a mix up. So Forward stance is really good. That power crush and that 2 option that gives you heat. It's so good. And also on counter hit, guaranteed knockdown for 41 damage. The next move I want to talk about is her down forward 4. I use it a lot for space control. And the reason why is not only because of the range, right? And not only also it's a mid, but the follow-up is guaranteed. If you land down forward 4, the follow-up is guaranteed. If they don't tech roll, then that's guaranteed. 4-4-3. If they stay on the ground like that, that's chunky damage. It's like a mini low parry combo if you think about it, right? So this move is really good. Don't be afraid to mid check with this, okay? Back 1 is really good. Full forward 2 is really good, but this mid is also good. Now you have 3 mids you could use to apply pressure, and this has the guaranteed follow-up. Mess up the momentum, you know, run in. So trust me, so good. 4. So if you see, this move is plus 10. So now that's guaranteed. You can also do 1-4, her other 10 frame. So it's up to you on which 10 frame you want to use, but majority of the time I'm gonna do 1-2-2, just so I can go into the stance 1. So I didn't know this for the longest time. I used it because of how plus it was on block. I think it's plus 1 or 2 on block. So, and it's a good range, right? Look at that. You can throw that out and then do the follow-up. And you can enhance it by doing quarter circle forward, okay? All of her blue spark moves, besides 3-2, can be enhanced by doing quarter circle forward, okay? So you do forward 3, then quarter circle forward 4. Boom. And it just does more damage. The frames are the same, but this is really good. Like I said, plus 10, and now you have that. So that's a really good whiff punisher as well. Long range punisher is our forward 1+2, 3, 1+2. Okay, just right here. Pretty solid, okay, as a whiff punisher. I wouldn't really use it in the neutral too much. It's kind of more of testing your opponent because it's the first few hits are minus 10, as you see, and then you do the third one or the second hit minus 13, and then you finish the whole thing, and now you're launch punished. When you see your opponent miss something, you can use it. You can also bait your opponent, right? Because a lot of times I'll throw this out and you see that? Look how far she goes. She goes pretty far. So sometimes I'll just throw this out and then get them on the last hit, okay? And it's also a heat engager, right? So yeah, really solid. If you do quarter circle forward 1+2 like this, oh, there it is, for a couple extra more damage, okay? So keep that in mind if you want to get that extra damage. If you like to, just throw it out like this so you don't drop it. But if you really want that extra damage, now you know, do quarter circle forward 1+2 as the ending of that string, okay? 3-2, it's a launcher. She only has a couple of launchers because a lot of them are counter hit launchers. So quickly, you have hop kick, you have 4-4-3, you have 3-2. These are her natural launchers. Mainly going to be used as a big whiff punish, right? Go into stance, do something like this. Wasn't guaranteed, but you can do that if you get the right distance onto the wall. So that's a little sample combo. But yes, this is going to be for big damage. You go into her stance, and that's how you pick up, okay? 3-4 1+2, which is also enhanced like this. So pretty good, okay? So like I said, as a combo, you can do something like this. Very basic, but it's a good starter. So something like that, okay? If you guys want more, or like an expanded version of how to play Lidia, I can definitely do that. But I think those are the good tools you can use as a starter, okay? Those strings, those mid checks, like if you continue using those moves, applying those, like I showed a lot of options, but just alone from those moves, you can win many matches, okay? You'll get used to the character and it will be fun. She's definitely, I wouldn't say difficult. She's, I guess, harder than some characters, but for the most part, once you get down her moves, it's pretty simple, right? Pretty straightforward. She's just a little stiff, right? Easily can be stepped. A lot of her stances can be jabbed out. But that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. See y'all in the next one.